you know me, I love drama.
Yes.
Calm down. Doug Peterson was saying what he was supposed to say about his football team. But if the Cowboys don't use this, right, there's this narrative right now going around Dallas that this team is not responding to a lot of things that the head coach is saying. The energy is not there. We running displays of the players walking off the field, not shaking his hand. There are a lot of issues. Do you rally around what Doug Peterson said? That's a question for the Dallas Cowboys to answer. I know what you would like to do, not be 3-3 right now.
Here's what I'd like to ask you, because you know the situation so well. Again, for those who don't realize, you played for this team. You played for Jerry Jones. You played when Jason Garrett was there. Is there any circumstance that you can foresee where he could get fired during the season?
Absolutely. Look, the number one indictment on a head coach is winning and losing, obviously, is the elephant, right? We all talk about that, the record, what success are you having? When them damn players stop responding to you, though, that's the writing on the wall.
As you watch, Dan, the Cowboys, to this point, just not being as good as we thought they should be, how much of it is attributable to the head coach?
Well, the great majority of it, right? He's the leader of it. And I think the reality for Jerry Jones is never let your loyalty make you a fool, right? This is a Super Bowl contending roster in every aspect. They're sitting 3-3, which is unacceptable. And Jerry Jones can sit there and go, I love Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's been a part of our organization for 20 years now, right? And let that make a fool of you as an owner and general manager with a team that is capable in many ways. You know, the biggest thing with Dallas to me when it talks directly to Jason Garrett is this. The first 3 weeks of the season, their offense looked like a 2019 offense. And all of a sudden, it doesn't. There's no RPOs anymore. There's no cool motion anymore. There's no creativity anymore. And to me, that looks like a head coach that potentially has gone to a play caller and said, I'm not liking what we're doing. Stop doing that. I don't know if he's taken over the play calling or hindered some of it. It's a completely different looking offense. This video right there, we talked about it. If you're running off the field and your head coach is there and you don't give him a high five, your actions speak louder than your words.
There's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is not us being on a show trying to give a hot take. I've been in locker rooms where the coach's words falls on deaf ears because we feel like we're sitting in the same exact spot that we've grown accustomed to all the time. Mediocrity has been synonymous with the Cowboys. Now the players are starting to show and vent their frustration, compounded with losing to an 0-4 team with a quarterback that just returned to the field.
These teams are both 3-3. They've both lost games they should have won. And yet look at the difference in the way the two coaches are thought of.
First of all, Philly is just removed off a Super Bowl in the context of what we think of recent history in the NFL. That's number one. Number two is there's a direction for this team. Doug Peterson hasn't been there as long as Jason Garrett. That's number three. And then number two, the other thing, they paid their quarterback. They're invested in their future. Now, everybody kills me when I say that the Cowboys' pause is on Dak with this contract because there's this idea that he can't lift them beyond the New York Jets on Sunday, right? When you talk about giving him that much money and putting him in that particular situation. So there are a lot of things that are transpiring in the Dallas Cowboy locker room ancillary to the fact that they're 3-3 opposed to the Eagles just fixing it and saying we'll get better.
Your usage of the word lift is perfect, right? Like I went home yesterday afternoon in the show and I said, dang, Sunday was Dak's moment. Like Sunday was his moment to go on the road, play without his left tackle, play without his number one receiver, play without his number two receiver, and lift his team and in many ways win a game that you had reasons you shouldn't win. That was going to be his moment, and he didn't do it. And that continues to be the conversation. I watched Russell Wilson do it on Sunday. In many ways, and again, we've talked about the officials, we watched Rodgers do it last night, right? Like Rodgers is playing without his top three receivers with Devontae, Allison, and Valdez-Scantling out for a little bit. Why can't Dak lift everyone around him when he needs to?
Well, let me rephrase the question then. I mean, the question is really about just how good he is. And when we talk about the cycle of mediocrity that Jerry Jones has to some degree bought into since Jimmy Johnson departed and holding on with Jason Garrett, an excellent way to remain mediocre is to pay a lot of money to a good player. And that's really what's at stake here with Dak.
That's what's at stake. And Greeny, It is the pause. I don't care what anybody says, man. You will never get me to think that you don't pay a guy you see as your franchise quarterback.
It was the moment where he could be worthy of overcoming everything else, right? Like,
and that, Dan, that's been the.
Yeah.
What have we been telling people?
Yeah.
That has been the pause. It's not that Dak doesn't have great moments and have ups and we see him do great things, but the consistency in that. You can't walk away from an 0-4 loss. And to mention that, yesterday when you sat on this show and you said Sam Darnold was clearly the better quarterback.
In that game he was.
And the reason why you say that is because Dak hasn't given us a consistent amount of moments for you to disband that argument.
Well, I have two thoughts. One, if you watch the game, I think it was just
quarterback on Sunday,
indisputable.
for sure.
And two, if you polled 32 general managers, or take 30 of them, take the Jets and Cowboys brass out of this, and said you can start a team right now with either Dak Prescott or Sam Darnold, what would this divide be?
25-5?
In favor of?
Oh, Sam Darnold. Yeah. Sam, again, I said this yesterday, Sam Darnold already did stuff in that game that Dak is incapable of doing.
And look, as we talk about Dak not lifting, Sam Darnold lifted. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.